I like to say that this job is kind of like boot camp. The difference is it never really ends. You're always kind of getting kicked in the butt and yelled at in some way.
Hey, my name is Abby. I am a ramp agent and a commercial pilot. My acting resume and my aviation resume are actually pretty similar, so hire me.
No, that's a joke.
Kind of, in today's economy. But it's okay if you don't know what a ramp agent does even at this point, even though I've been one for a while and made videos on it, because I talk about it to my family and my family still doesn't know what I do. My dad doesn't even know my friends' names and he's known them for like 8 years. So don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. That's partly why I'm making this video. I made that other video. First things first, a ramp agent does a little bit of everything. Ramp agents do a lot. So it depends if you work on baggage side or cargo side, or if you work at a small airport or a big airport. It got a lot of views. I wasn't even going to post it. I barely finished editing it, to be honest. At the end of the day, I'm not saying anything bad about the company. If anything, my videos definitely encourage you to be a ramp agent. That being said, my views in these videos, none of this reflects any airline or any company or any airport. You get the drill. Don't come after me. I have nothing for you to sue and to take away from me except, actually no, this won't even connect to my phone. First things first, to get right into it, is being a ramp agent is different depending on where you work, who you work for, company-wise, and how big the airport is. I've said it before and I'll say it again, we do a little bit of anything and everything, of course, within your training, and if you don't feel comfortable with something, you should always ask, can you help me so I don't kill myself? That's very applicable because there's a lot of machinery and equipment, and there's a lot going on, and it's loud, and it can be a little bit chaotic, and it's go, 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 go. Because sometimes you're hop out of the bin, hop back into the bin, hop out in, you're loading flights back to back. Other times it might be a lot slower. There's a lot of equipment that's involved. I think a lot of people don't realize just how much goes into offloading and unloading a plane because we make it pretty streamlined, if I say so myself. No, genuinely, even when I fly, I forget that there's so many different companies and people and teams working on the same aircraft because everything's on a time critical environment, whether you're in cargo, working at a small airport, working the passenger side of airlines. If you work on the airport or in the aviation industry, you gotta prisa emergem, vamos, vamos, you know, like you have to get a little bit used to the hurry up and go lifestyle, which is sometimes you hurry up to load a flight and then it doesn't go because of maintenance, but it's very go fast and then slow down, go fast and then slow down. Peak travel seasons also applies to cargo. Christmas is busy, Mother's Day, busy, spring break is busy, summer, all summer. You think you're gonna use your flight benefits to travel? That's cute. I'm not gonna talk about that too much because that's kind of airline specific as well. But summer, I didn't go anywhere. You know where my butt was? Every ramper hates the bag room. I shouldn't generalize because some of us don't mind it. And I don't mind the bag room if it's pouring rain. But in general, I think a lot of us work this job, and I could be wrong, and I probably am wrong, but I think a lot of us work this job because we like being outside. None of us really like the bag room just because it's more of an enclosed space, and that is when the passengers send down their bags. You put their bag into a cart, the cart goes to a plane. When you're the one working the flight, you load those bags into the plane. But if you're in the bag room, you gotta stay in the bag room. Y'all keep asking me how much I make. I was hired at $15 an hour, but the reason I don't answer this question is because it's irrelevant. It depends on what airline you work for, it depends on what country you're in, it depends on what state you're in, it depends on what city you're in, and it depends on what company you work for. I think I already said that. All of that is going to determine your pay scale. I live on the West Coast in Portland, Oregon, if you need some context. Also, I will say the work hours are insane. The work hours are very unlike any other job. This is something that you will know if you're in aviation, but airports are 24 hours. So what that looks like is you might be working at 3 a.m. You might be working until 3 a.m. You might be working in the middle of the day and have a pretty normal shift, but I don't really know. All I know is I've done a 4:30 a.m. shift, I've done a 4 a.m. shift, I've done a 5 a.m. shift. I had a middle of the day shift. I
actually hated it.
And then right now I'm on PM and I love it. So I get off typically around 1 a.m. But that changes. It depends on your station. It depends on how many people and employees you have. It depends on how often you bid. And that rolls into another thing we gotta talk about, and this might take a minute. Pretenime, my friends. Genuinely, I'm sorry if you try to hang out with me and I've ever tried to explain my schedule with you. Genuinely from the bottom of inimamya, from my heart. But what I will say is that the bid system can be pretty nice because you can have a set schedule, and then if you hate it, it will probably change again when everybody bids again. The downside to that though is everything is based on seniority. If it's based off of age or time in the company, you're not gonna be very senior, you're gonna be at the bottom, right? Because you're a new hire. So when they bid, you might get stuck with the very crappy line. It's kind of common, it's kind of like the paying your dues, right? The thing is though, I do stay for the goofy people and the humor and just how no day is ever really truly the same. I also kind of thrive in chaos a little bit. I like it. In the potlucks, y'all got me. Y'all got me. The people are amazing. The people are one of the things that keep me coming back. I like my coworkers a lot. It's embarrassing to say. I hope they don't watch this video. But the main difference I would say between working cargo as a ramp agent and then passenger side for an airline as a ramp agent is that with passengers, there's people and bags. Cargo, there's mail, there's Amazon orders, there's anything and everything. There's animals, car parts, machinery. So all the stuff is heavier, bigger, use heavier, bigger equipment. And then passenger side, it's mainly bags that you're gonna be dealing with. You're also gonna be on your knees and a little bit more cramped more often because you're in the bin, the belly of the plane where the bags go. But then for cargo planes, I did like that I could stand up straight, and I do feel like that's a little bit easier on your back and your body. Let's say, because I gotta say, if you are here for only the flight benefits, ascoltami pe mine, iubirea mea, papușa meu. It's not worth it. It might be. But the flight benefits, yeah, they're great, but typically it's space available. It's standby travel, so it means if there's space, you fly. If there's no space, you don't fly. Post-COVID, it's been pretty hard to get on flights, and flights are pretty full. That also being said, I'm gonna be honest with you, you are going to work a lot, and it might be hard to actually use your flight benefits. And the third point to that is, it is a physical labor manual job. If you're being lazy and you're there just for the flight benefits, you will wash out. You won't last. I mean, a year, 2 years down the road, you're gonna be like, you know what? Honestly, I would rather pay $500 for a ticket than be working 3:30 a.m. with 145 bags, and it's me and 2 other people, and it's Christmas Eve. But that's for me to know and for you to try out. Yo, I'm just gonna say it because I don't know how else to say it. Do not, I have a knife, but I don't want to wave a knife in your face. Do not work the ramp. Do not work the ramp if you can't take a medium to well done roast session. I grew up in a big family. I'm a first-generation immigrant. I have older brothers. I have a lot of cousins. I've been at the family functions and I've been wearing my ripped jeans and I'm still fighting the good fight. I'm a seasoned veteran, but I will say that the ramp is a close second. You ever been tired to your very bones? You roll up a 14-hour shift, you're working a double. It's New Year's Eve, and your coworker starts roasting your form on pull-ups. You're on hour 10 and a half of your shift and your coworker starts roasting your stack job? There I am, most of the time, minding my own business, basking in the sun on the belt loader, roasting. Hey Abby, that looks like a really great nap you're taking.
Probably because you didn't help load anything.
I told you don't do anything. Busted. Takes a long time to tie that shoe, huh?
I've been roasted for my use of hot sauce so often. I've had a coworker, he tried to withhold the hot sauce from me. He was judging me for my breakfast. Yes, I was putting hot sauce in my oatmeal, and I was like, I know I'm not a normal person, but none of y'all are normal either. Also, it's 5:45 a.m. But I'm just saying, be prepared for it. If you like that type of thing, that's gonna go very well for you. If you grew up in a big family, if you grew up with a lot of cousins, if you grew up like I think you'll like it, and you know they got the nicknames and they got the turning your biggest insecurity into your nickname, that type of beat, you know what I'm saying? Pros of the job, if you like this type of thing, it is fast-paced, it is physical work, it is labor work, that's the same thing, you gotta work with your hands. Feeling of satisfaction, you work with other people, that could be a pro or a con for you. You work outside, it's fun, exciting, no day is ever really the same. You get to see, load, lift some pretty cool stuff. You see some pretty cool things in cool aircraft. Maybe you'll see celebrities flying in and out, that type of thing. And of course, the flight benefits. Cons of the job, working outside. Physical labor. No day is ever the same. The schedule can be very crazy. The schedule can be a con, especially when you're new and you're starting out. Pay is very low. It's low for the job we do. It's dangerous. I'm scared. Did you freaking see how high that is? But depends on like how you personally view that aspect of the job. And again, I'm gonna say this, I should have said this in the beginning of the video, regardless of age, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of hair length. Yeah, regardless of body composition, I've seen a lot of different people like this job, thrive in this job, and do well in this job. So don't think, well, because I'm very small, I can't do this job. Because I'm very big, I can't do this job. Try it and see. Try and get an interview. Like, you don't know until you try. You don't know if you'll like it until you try. I never would have guessed that ramp agent would have been one of my favorite jobs. It depends. You gotta know yourself. You gotta know these things. You gotta... Safi purtanik, safi ashada harnika. You gotta be a hard worker for this job, I agree, but it's also a mindset thing. That's about it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Here's the thing I'm not gonna do. Move that grocery outlet bag, because at this point it is a staple in my videos. It was also in my running marathon video and in the aerospace video. Also, a lot of ramp agents like being outside, and they like the sun, and they like the clouds, and they like the sky, and they don't like being contained. I don't know if we all have ADHD collectively. I don't know if all of us have the leg bouncing syndrome collectively as a unit. Like that, I pick out my favorite, trustiest, fastest tug, and I pretend I'm like a cowboy from the Wild West, because that is my steed, basically, at that point. But then they took it into maintenance, and my fastest tug, that was my favorite, and this is a sob story. It should pull at your heartstrings. They took my favorite tug and they made it slower, and when it came back, I was like, Chafa kud latine! They ruined her. Slower now. I'm butthurt. Even just thinking about that hurts something. And they repainted it, and like it doesn't have like the graffiti and like the cool stuff that I had before. Ever had a watch call you broke? This thing was like, you don't have the newest iOS. This is outdated. It won't connect because you need iOS 16 or higher, which I don't have. So my watch called me broke anyways. We guide the planes in as well. That is what we were doing when we walk with the wands. This is just to make sure that the wings are clear, but these people out here actually are doing something important. We're not just walking and wasting government money. Hello? We're doing our job, maybe practicing our dance moves, maybe practicing our walk, okay?
It's a runway.
Act accordingly. You work with the runway and you better strut it. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes I'm like limping. I'm aware I'm cutting off my forehead. It's okay. I got a big forehead. I got a lot to go around. You understand? I don't know. I like that thing where we as humans like to compare each other to each other else, and that was not a complete sentence. Oh, that being said, disclaimer over. Don't try to sue me. I promise you it will be disappointing for us both. I'm pretty sure you don't want this. My other black bandana is gone. I dropped it in the break room. It like fell off my backpack because I tied it around my backpack strap. Actually dropped in the break room. Somebody stole it and never gave it back to me. I even put out like a notice for it. I was like, I need her back. She's been through a lot in my life. They didn't give her back. So I mean, enjoy my dandruff, I guess.